for a Dutchman, he's pretty good. We have any other Dutchmen here? I just offended several. In every way. We've had a whole lot of fun, and I tell you, the only thing I've said that I'm going to enjoy more than becoming president is coming back as president and helping Bob become the next governor of Iowa. We brought in a few more chairs. There's one here, there's a couple around here, so please feel free to find one of these chairs. We will only charge you $25 for the chair. I'm just kidding. But I really want to say thanks for coming out. Honestly, I was a little concerned. I thought, Friday night, people would want to football games, starting into the weekend. Beautiful fall weather coming out here, so maybe people just say, let's not go to another political event in Iowa. And it thrills me that you come, and we're still bringing in some chairs, but make yourself as comfortable as you can be. Thanks for coming. It means a lot. And I am genuinely pleased that Bob is our state chair. And, he was telling you the truth. Every campaign wanted him to be a part of them. They all asked him. It thrills me that he chose to be a part of our campaign. And it was not because of anything other than just shared convictions about not only what's wrong with this country, but more importantly, shared convictions about what's going to make it right. I'm afraid sometimes people run for office because they're mad at somebody or mad at something. I need to explain to you why I'm doing this. Because sometimes people ask, why are you running for president? And I think they often expect me to say, because I'm mad about the way, and tear off into a tirade. Oh, there are some things about which I'm unhappy, and I think we can fix. But I'm not running for president because I'm mad. I'm running because I feel incredibly grateful to be an American. I feel like if I gave my last breath of energy to this country, I could never repay it for what it has given me. I know from where I've come. Let me give it a little background. The prophet Isaiah said it this way. He said, look to the rock from which you were hewn and the quarry from which you were dug. Sometimes it's nice to kind of go back and dig around and see where we've come from. Then we can appreciate where we've arrived. I grew up in a working class family in Hope, Arkansas. And yes, I really did grow up in Hope, Arkansas. Bill Clinton's not the only person born there. Truth is, Bill Clinton moved away when he was 6 years old, and I stayed. He'd have turned out better if he'd have stayed longer. But in that little town, my father was a fireman. He worked for the City of Hope. He worked 24 hours on, 24 hours off, and 24 hours on. That's how firemen worked in those days. And on the days that he didn't work at the fire station, he worked as a mechanic, and he rebuilt car generators. My dad understood one thing, and that was a lot of long hours and hard work. He never had a day where he could completely get all the cars and mechanic work off his hands. My dad saw to it that the only soap we had in our house was lava soap. I tell people this is true. I was in college before I realized it wasn't supposed to hurt when you take a shower. Some of you understand that. I'm so happy here. I told that to some groups, and it's obviously a very hoity-toity crowd, and they look at me, they look at like, I don't know what you're speaking of. When we go to the spa, we call it an exfoliation. As I often say, in my world, where I grew up, summer was not a verb. Think about that. Summer was just that very hot time of year when we had to catch chickens, haul hay, or whatever it took to try to make it. I look back at my childhood. I don't look back with the sense of, oh, what a tough world I came out of. I look back and say, I lived in America. The toughest situation here was better than most people in the world will ever live. I was also blessed. I live in a very patriotic household. My dad, probably the most patriotic American I think I've ever known. Some of you wonder, what do you mean by patriotism? Well, let me put it this way. He laid on the stripes, I'd see stars. It was good for me. I understood discipline from an early age. But I also grew up in a safe neighborhood where we went out and played, and we'd get on our bicycles and be gone for hours until well past dark. And my parents were never worried about some predator sneaking up to us in a van and hauling us off, and somehow I'd end up on a milk carton with my picture on it somewhere. I think in part because those kind of days, it just didn't happen back then. The other thing was, I think my parents were pretty sure if anybody ever picked me up, they'd bring me back pretty quick. But I think most of all, my parents lived in a time when the greatest goal that they had was they wanted me to live a better life than them. And they made amazing sacrifices for that to happen. They've both been gone now for over 10 years. Quite frankly, I just still find ways in which I'm learning now of the sacrifices they made for me, because they wanted me to experience more than they ever could have dreamed. And I'll tell you, their dreams have been fulfilled. I was 8 years old and my dad said, "Son, I'm going to take you down to hear a speech. The governor of Arkansas is coming to dedicate a lake here in our little town." And governors didn't come to Hope because it was way off in the corner of the state. It was kind of far from everything. And he said, "The governor's coming and I'm going to take you down and I want you to hear him talk because, son, you may live your whole life and never get to meet a governor in person." Oh, I wish he could have lived just long enough. 3 months before I was sworn in, he passed away. And I've often said, if he could have lived 3 more months, I think there would have been a happier man in Arkansas than to see his son become governor. But I do believe he saw it. I just think he saw it from the best seat in the house. I really believe that. You know, my dad couldn't have imagined spending the night in the governor's mansion. He never finished high school, nor did his dad or his dad or his dad before him. I was the first male in my entire family lineage to get out of high school, much less to go into college and get a degree, go to graduate school. I'm telling you all that not because I want you to say, "Oh, what a tough life." Again, no. I'm here tonight because I'm incredibly grateful. What a wonderful country that a kid like me not only got to become the 44th governor of my state, I'm running for president of the United States. And, you know, thanks to people in Iowa, I just might get there. And if I do, I'll not only be the 44th governor of Arkansas, I'll become the 44th president of the United States. There's got to be something in that, folks. Please don't spoil my fun. Make it happen. You can do it. But our country's in trouble, and we know that. We're a country that's divided, polarized, if you will. Washington, the government's so polarized, it's become paralyzed. Sad thing is, they're not solving the problems that we sent them there to solve. We won't secure borders. We want to deal with the crisis of people coming who get into this country through an international border with less documentation than you and I have to get on an airplane in our hometown. Every time I go to the Little Rock Airport to go somewhere, I have to show my photo ID, I have to get a boarding pass, I have to walk through several layers of security. We have to take our shoes off, put them in those little plastic tubs. It gets to be a little embarrassing sometimes. And that's at an airport where they know who I am. It's not like they're really afraid of me hijacking the airplane. And it's absurd that it is more complicated for me to get on the airplane in Little Rock than it is for somebody to break across the border. Now, look, I don't resent that people want to come here. I really don't. If I lived anywhere else on this planet, I'd want to come to America as well. Every night I say, I thank God, I get on my knees, and I'm grateful that I'm in a country that people are trying to break into. I'm not in a country that people are trying to break out of. I like that about our country. I really do. But the people who come here should do it legally, and they should do it in an orderly way. And that's all in the world we're asking. We're not angry at them, but I'm angry at my government for sitting on their hands for over 20 years and allowing a situation to get completely out of control and acting like they don't know what to do about it. Well, I know what I'd do if, people kept coming into my yard. I'd build a fence. That's not real hard. And then they say, well, we don't know what to do with all the people who are here. Well, there's a little struggling company in my state. They sell things. You've heard of them. They're called Walmart. They're based there in Arkansas. Now, Walmart has an amazing logistics operation so that if you go tonight to a Walmart store and buy a bottle of shampoo and take it off the shelf, when you go through the check stand, it'll register that a bottle of shampoo has come off their shelf. That information is translated via satellite to Bentonville, Arkansas, to the home office, and a truck that is going to that store will be loaded with another bottle of shampoos to replace the one you bought, so that tomorrow somebody coming to buy shampoo won't go and say, oh, they're out. That's the way it works. That's why they have become a very successful company, because they keep up with details, even to the point of a bottle of shampoo. Now, if the Lord can keep up with the number of hairs on my head, and after the last few years, he has a lot less to keep up with, let me say that about him. And Walmart can keep up with bottles of shampoo. Are you telling me that our government, with all of its resources, cannot find and know who is in our country, and don't know, and says we just don't know what to do about it? Look, if it's that bad, I've got the suggestion: we'll just outsource this to Walmart and let them handle it, because they seem to know how to do it. No, our government has failed us in that.